Hi everyone, and welcome to our Friday TNT, last day of the week. Tomorrow we've got our live program as usual for Saturdays, and that'll be starting at 9 a.m. Thai time. You're all invited, there's no memberships or anything, so please join us tomorrow if you've got things to say, questions to ask. You are more than welcome. We are here for a whole hour. Nick will be joining me tomorrow, so we'll see how things unwind. I never really know what's going to happen, and I suppose that's the idea of the program. And on Sunday, we've got our latest edition of Grumpy Old Men. Now, Songkran was yesterday, well, the first day of Songkran. In some places around Thailand, it will continue. I know in Patia, there's a huge party that sometimes goes 4 or 5 days. I think down even in Bangla Road, parts of Patong, it will probably continue maybe today, but otherwise around most of Thailand, people are back to usual. Although it is a time off, they'll have basically a long weekend and then stagger back to work on Sunday. So what did you get up to? I hope you had a good time. And if you're not in Thailand, well, you sort of missed out, didn't you? And now there's plenty to talk about, even though it is Songkran. And we start with Apple in talks with suppliers to make MacBooks in Thailand. And it's part of the company's ongoing efforts to expand its manufacturing presence beyond China. And this is according to the Nikkei yesterday. Suppliers involved in the talks already have manufacturing complexes in Thailand for other clients and are discussing possible assembly and production of components and modules for MacBooks, just like this one, which I'm pressing the buttons on right now. Apple's also been mass-producing its Apple Watch in Thailand for more than a year, according to the report. At least 18 companies, including Compal Electronics, Sony, and we've got Western Digital, and they've got operations in Thailand according to Apple's latest supplier list. And Apple and its key suppliers have been shifting production away from China, where strict COVID-19 curbs disrupted Foxconn's biggest iPhone factory last year. Apple's also been seeking to avoid a hit to its business due to tensions between Beijing and Washington. Yesterday, Bloomberg News reported the company's tripled its production of iPhones in India, which is now assembling over $7 billion worth of smartphones in the country during the last fiscal year. So Apple slowly and palpably moving a lot of their production out of China. A question to you, do you worry about where things are made? I mean, I understand when it comes to slave labour making clothes, that's a definite no-no. But are you worried that your iPhone might have been made in India or China? And if there's disputes with those countries, do you suddenly feel that you need to boycott those products to make some sort of personal statement? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Be interested to hear your thoughts. Well, we can't really continue today's program without talking about Songkran. Chiang Mai residents and tourists brave choking air pollution to celebrate Songkran, and apparently undeterred by the excessive PM 2.5 air pollution, many residents and tourists, both Thai and foreign, spilled into Chiang Mai's main roads yesterday. In line with the tradition, the Buddha Sihing, the most revered Buddha image in Chiang Mai, was moved from Prasing Temple in a vehicle procession around the city to let people ritually bathe the statue. Chiang Mai certainly had its unique and very long traditions in Songkran, and well, up to this year has certainly been a focal point for many tourists to head there to enjoy the Songkran celebrations. Pickup trucks carrying barrels filled with water were seen cruising around town with revellers on board throwing water on passers-by, and a situation repeated really much around Thailand yesterday during Songkran. Now, we can't really talk about Chiang Mai without addressing the air pollution. What's the situation like there today? And we go to iqair.com, and once again I've underlined both Chiang Rai up north and Chiang Mai, just so you can get a bit of a bearing on what's going on there. And you can see a lot of the fires once again up in far northern Laos, but a lot of the wind directions blowing the smoke and the smog down into northern Thailand. And we can see very high levels. Once again, we're sort of up in the very unhealthy and the hazardous areas of the PM 2.5. At some stage, I think everybody has to say enough is enough. This is certainly intolerable. And the health impacts from just this year alone, I think, are going to be massive. And I suspect that the government are really going to be punished not only by Northern Thailanders, but others who sort of see them as sort of wringing their hands and saying all the right things, but doing basically nothing. The situation in central Thailand, not a lot better. Bangkok underlined there in white, and they've got unhealthy for sensitive groups and unhealthy levels of PM 2.5 this morning. And this story from phys.org, this week no one, hazardous Thai pollution deters tourists. Obviously a quote from a resident up in Chiang Mai. Hazardous pollution levels in northern Thailand have left the historic city of Chiang Mai choking under thick smog, with locals worried about the impact on tourism and their health. Smoke from forest fires and farmers burning crop stubble has suffocated the tourist city, with global air monitoring IQ Air ranking it among the most polluted places in the world, above regular hotspots such as Lahore and Delhi. And we need to remember that IQ Air don't measure every city around the world, and we note that those cities in northern Laos don't seem to get measured at all, and they would certainly rank a lot higher than Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai if they were listed in those top 10 cities in the world with the worst air pollution. Residents have petitioned the government to act with images and videos of the dense haze capturing public attention in the run-up to May's much-anticipated national election, and the PM 2.5 particulate levels measured more than 30 times the World Health Organization's annual guidelines. That is just ridiculous. And a 40-year-old who runs Siam Travel says this year is bad. Normally pollution is not too long, but the foreigners have seen the news. And a representative from the Thai Hotel Association Northern Chapter says this year people were cancelling their Songkran New Year holiday reservations due to the pollution levels. Last week I got one customer only. This week, no one. And there's a photo there. I mean, obviously the telephoto lens shot like that magnifies the problem somewhat, but still not a good look for that photo to be spreading out around the world. And a 45-year-old orange juice vendor says, it's affecting my life more and more every day, whether it be my health or the decline in the number of tourists. Some days you can barely see the road ahead, and it's not fog, but it's smog. And the pollution is mainly caused by farmers, says the article, burning their fields, says an atmospheric consultant with the National Astronomical Research Institute in Thailand. And the story continuing to bubble on, it's continuing to be reported around the world as the people in Chiang Mai choke. Well, it looks like I've missed the boat, but if you're interested in going on a private tour to any of the beautiful beaches or the islands off Phuket, I can highly recommend 5 Star Marine. Now, I've put a link in the description of this video if you'd like to find out more and make a booking. It's our Friday TNT program. Let's move on. We now go to the Bangkok Post, and an international drug ring extending to Australia nabbed. More than 100 kilograms of narcotics were intercepted in an operation in Thailand. The suspects from 3 countries. And firstly, they got a tip-off that heroin was being smuggled from Thailand to Australia, and working alongside a joint task force, the Narcotics Control Board was able to seize 80 bricks of heroin weighing a total of nearly 30 kilograms. The bricks had been concealed in plastic resin. At the scene, police arrested a 34-year-old, and she admitted to being hired by a 63-year-old Malaysian man. And then they were able to arrest a 62-year-old from Hong Kong, and he was found in his condo in Bangkok with nearly 30 kilograms of methamphetamine and another 63.4 kilograms of heroin. So then the Thai officials collaborated with the Australian Federal Police to trace the destination of the drugs, which led to a Thai-Australian individual residing in Australia. The authorities are currently tracking down that individual. So certainly no shortage of drugs to be tracked down, and occasionally we have these huge busts. But as we've said before, we suspect that they're just the tip of the iceberg. Moving on to our next story, also from the Bangkok Post today, and about 12,000 Myanmar refugees leave TAC. And about 12,000 Myanmar refugees left this border province for their homeland in Myawaddy this week, after they'd taken shelter on Thai soil over the past week, according to the Thai army. And a deputy spokeswoman of the army said that 89 Myanmar refugees had left their shelters, and they were the last group of some 12,500 Myanmar refugees who had taken shelter at 15 locations. You sort of look at the photo and it looks like it's just been a pleasant visit, and we're saying bye-bye, thanks for coming, hope you had a nice time here. But of course these people do not want to go back to Myanmar, not even close. Which takes us to this story, and this is from Human Rights Watch. Thailand, Myanmar activist forcibly returned. Thai immigration officials forcibly returned 3 Burmese opposition activists to Myanmar, putting them at grave risk of persecution and other abuses. And it lists the names of the 38, 31 and 26-year-olds who were sent back. And Myanmar media reported that the Border Guard Force troops shot and wounded the men when they tried to escape. Informed sources say the men were later handed over to the junta security forces. And that certainly doesn't bode well for the future of those gentlemen. The Thai government's increasingly collaborated with Myanmar's junta, says Human Rights Watch, and aligned forces to harass, arrest and forcibly return asylum seekers, including members of opposition groups who have fled to Thailand since the February 2021 military coup. And since the coup, the Myanmar junta has carried out a nationwide campaign of mass killings, torture, arbitrary arrests and indiscriminate attacks, and Al Jazeera reporting that ASEAN strongly condemns deadly Myanmar attack, and this attack happened on Tuesday. And Southeast Asian nations have strongly condemned the Myanmar military's bombing that killed dozens of people, including children. Media reports say that as many as 100 people were killed when fighter jets dropped bombs on the community hall on Tuesday morning. Witnesses said helicopter gunships followed, shooting at survivors and hindering rescue efforts. One villager who spoke to the AFP news agency estimated about 80 bodies had been cremated on Wednesday, with rescuers halting efforts to recover 40 more bodies because they were afraid of more airstrikes. And then The Star, published in Malaysia, reports that Thailand's latest actions legitimise the Burmese regime, and claiming that the country, that being Thailand, has been careful not to directly criticise Myanmar's military since the latter seized power from a civilian government in 2021, but recent events have made the kingdom's support for its neighbour's regime seem more obvious. And we recall that a few weeks ago there was a meeting between the leaders of Myanmar, Thailand and Laos to discuss the cross-border air pollution problem. And then it says in the third paragraph, the press release issued by Thailand's Foreign Affairs Ministry afterwards referred to Myanmar's coup leader as the Prime Minister of Myanmar, a status challenged within Myanmar and in many parts of the world. And taken together, Thailand's recent actions are legitimising the Myanmar regime, surmised a Thammasat University political scientist. And he said regarding the Hayes meeting, he said that if the Thai government had taken that into consideration, they could have tasked a deputy prime minister or even a minister of environment to conduct the meeting, just to reserve some kind of diplomatic distance towards the Burmese junta leader. So Thailand's certainly playing a very delicate diplomatic game here. But the crisis continues, where you've got Burmese people flooding across the border into the northwest of Thailand, but the Thai military is showing absolutely no sympathy at all and literally just throwing them back across the border. This is TNT. On our Friday TNT program, heading to Patia now, and this from the Patia News. The Chinese overstayers conducting loan shark businesses busted in Patia. They were arrested by Patia police at a rented luxury house in Patia on April the 11th. The officers said the group conducted a loan shark business in Thailand and lent out money to customers in China. They raided a two-storey house in the M Mountain village in Patia following an investigation that some Chinese nationals were allegedly operating an illegal loan shark business on the property. Just wondering why they'd come all the way to Thailand to operate a loan shark business when they're basically loaning out to fellow Chinese. And they've got a list there of the 4 men and the 1 woman who have been arrested. And police say the individuals rented the house to run an illegal loan business that handed out money to customers in China. The group made profits by charging an exorbitant repayment rate, according to police. And upon checking the suspects' visas, police also found that 4 of them had been overstaying in Thailand. The 1 legal suspect would still be prosecuted for working without a work permit. If you're going to work in Thailand, you need a work permit. Well, we did spend a lot of time today talking about that situation up there in northwestern Thailand. A lot of Burmese flooding across the borders, more than are being reported, given that you've got 2,500 kilometres of border, most of it unguarded, and there'd be a lot more Burmese in the country than the Thai government would be happy to admit. And leading up to the election, I don't really think they want to talk about this problem, but it is a huge humanitarian crisis, and it's unfolding just as we speak in the country next door. This is TAT. Hopefully you've enjoyed the program this week. If you get an opportunity, please subscribe to the channel. I'd be very grateful, and also just click a like or maybe even an unlike button on your way out. Tomorrow we've got Nick here sitting next to me, and we'll be doing our live program from 9 a.m. Thai time. You're invited. And of course, then on Sunday, we've got our Grumpy Old Men with Steve. But thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of Songkran if you're here in Thailand. And thanks for watching.